I asked about diversity and inclusion in a job interview. I just had a job interview on Zoom. I was kinda out of my depth, but think I did pretty well. She asked me if I had any questions for her about the company, so I discussed a recent campaign they've done. I then asked about diversity and inclusion. I'm a Muslim woman of color and saw on their website that every one of their staff employees is white, which is very odd considering where we live, and she went on about how they don't hire for background but skills, which made me feel kinda bad because I wasn't at all implying that they would not do that. They just tell me about their efforts to include people from marginalized backgrounds. Yeah, I cringed out after leaving the room. I am proud of myself for asking because I really hate being the only minority around, but it just shows how much harder this makes job seeking, despite already having a very Muslim ethnic sounding name and not getting many interviews in the first place. I dunno man, I dunno came to vent. If she wasn't able to answer the question, it sounds like they wouldn't be very supportive or understanding of non-Western cultures. Don't feel bad. A good company would be able to talk about diversity without implying the candidate was trying to get hired based on their contribution to the org's diversity initiatives. Yeah, it is actually pretty skeezy to me when they try to make it sound like you're implying they should hire people just because of race. Now man, I'm just worried about how much I'll achieve in a space I'm not truly welcome in. I agree. I always get put off when a company has zero diversity, in my opinion. As a person of color, that environment can be painful. Also, the interviewee's answer sucks in my opinion. Ordinary Kim 18,000. 215 6 Norzagonis 41 reply share report save. Don't feel bad about asking. I am currently employed but actively interviewing. One of the companies I interviewed with and got an offer from, I asked a similar question as I am also a Muslim woman of color. I stated as one of my reasons for seeking employment elsewhere was lack of diversity with my current employer. Not just race, religion, but also gender. My interviewer was a woman, so I think she understood. I work in tech, so it's easy for it to be a white man's world. She was honest that they didn't hire enough minorities or women. She was the first woman hired at the company, small, less than 300 employees. But she made it clear that they had initiatives in place and did trainings to discuss D. Even though the company was very male-based, I probably would have accepted the offer if the pay was higher. If her first thought was minority equals not skilled, you don't a bullet. Went on a job interview and asked about diversity and inclusion efforts. They told me it's an organizational priority. They are committed to attracting a more diverse pool of candidates for their open positions, and then detailed all the activities they put in place to increase knowledge of systemic racism and to increase inclusion. What you asked is a perfectly reasonable question. Good for you for asking the question. If they hire you, then they'll hopefully be a bit more mindful if they try to trot you out as a demo of how diverse and woke they are. If they don't, you've missed a diversity poster child. Bullet. You didn't do anything wrong, and there's nothing wrong with feeling a little off based on that answer. It is probably because you were hoping to hear something more reassuring and they failed. It is funny because I asked the same thing to a company I interviewed months ago. The CEO who I was interviewing with, it was a small startup, answered the same way. He then went on to ghost me and never even told me I wasn't advancing in the hiring process. Definitely a dodged bullet. Weirdly enough, going to feel bad at first after you ask this question and get let down, because you were probably really hoping this job would work out. And while it probably could in the long run, it wouldn't have been so great, especially with a response like that. Lament the loss of a potential job for a bit. That's a fair response. But then pick yourself up and keep going. At the risk of sounding like an echo chamber, you really did dodge a bullet. Edited. Too many typos to list. It is very early here. That colored person is gonna be a problem with questions like that. Better hire someone else. Short Gokodeg 1Kaga, thank you so much. Very comforting and wise words. 4.8 reply share report save. Can you explain this to me a little more? If they are impartial and just hiring on the best candidate fit, how can they make effort to include marginalized people without preferably picking those? It seems like saying they only care about skill set is truly impartial. How can that be a negative thing? It includes how you cast your net for the role. When I'm hiring, I make sure it's posted on black and linked specific job boards. If people just post job listings on their LinkedIn and their connections are mostly white, straight, male, cis, etc., Who do you think most applications will be from? It includes not just looking for candidates who went to Ivies, but also EBCOS. There are a lot of ways to exclude candidates before they even set foot in the room, so it's about being aware of that. This is just no. I worked with a workforce development analyst and in a department of diversity and inclusion. Talent pipelines are how you attract diversity. If your entire staff is able-bodied white men and you were saying you only hire based on skill, you mean to tell me there are no qualified women, disabled people, religious minorities, or black and brown people in a diverse city? Opportunity is not equal, so when you're advertising and for some reason everyone you end up interviewing is white, there is a talent pipeline issue. This is really lazy, and if recruiters are unable to speak to the diversity of their talent pipeline, that's a huge red flag. It's not difficult at all. I also interned with a recruiter, and when I posted jobs, we went through one website that posted to a board for women, the disabled, veterans, and people of color. For free, I stated in the post that we live in a diverse city, one of the most diverse in the world, and they only have white employees. I also stated in the post that I wasn't expecting them to pick me based on my marginalized background. I wanted to know about their diversity and inclusion policy to figure out if they care at all about representation in their workforce. Her answer showed me that they do not, and they associate any convo around diversity as people of color asking for a handout. It has been a few years since I had the interview, and the experience was pretty demeaning for me, especially seeing as I was being interviewed by her rep. But their hiring practices are not impartial if every one of their staff employees is white. Fragrant for 20 hours ago agree with this, a visible minority and born and raised in North America. I don't think there's anything wrong with the question a short Goku asked, but it likely made the company person feel awkward, and how are they to reply to such a question when they were in control of the meeting? You don't want them to come off standoffish either. They were interviewing you, so assuming they were open to hiring minorities. Alt reply share report save continue this thread. Honestly, sounds like she got defensive in a way. You were better off without them. Now waypunk 12 hours ago she's unemployed for 2. Reply share report save continue this thread. Very well put, my friend. Way to put yourself out there and stand up for what is right. Now waypunk 14 hours ago no? She asked a dumb question and lost a job for team reply share report save, so I took a job that was a significant step up from my previous position. It is in a secluded small town, and I'm the only woman in my male-dominated department. I am the most ethnic-looking person around here, but I am still classified as Caucasian. I wish I had asked the question you did in my interview with them. It could have saved me a lot of bullshit. I've realized half the people that work here are racist. There's one black woman in our company, and I've heard her be referred to as the black girl, and one Asian girl who I've grown to become friends with. Last January, when her and I carpooled together, another coworker said I shouldn't be driving with her because she comes from that dirty place where the chain of virus is from. Where that is said, I should the her because she the This same person also says they cannot understand anything she says. But it is not just one or two people. The whole company is twisted because it is all people who have never left their tiny town in their life and know nothing about the world beyond their safe little bubble. Told her, I think you dodged a bullet. Please don't give up on yourself. You are worth it. That's unfortunate for those people. So sad we have to go through this still. If they hired based on skill, they would most likely have a far more diverse team then. I think it was a very good question, and hopefully it makes her think a bit about it for the future. A short Goku, that's so shitty. I'm sorry that happened to you. Some interviewers have zero tact and are not even sure what marginalized means. And her is the worst. I default to diversity in the workplace because in many of the places I have worked nonprofit, donors and grantors like to see the board and staff reflect the community we serve, either in their socioeconomic background or in their race, religion, ethnicity, identity. I have 2 Zoom interviews today. When they give me a chance for any other questions, At the end, I will say I'm an advocate for lifelong learning, which includes learning to be culturally competent. What has your agency done in this arena, if given the floor? I will add, at my last agency, in response to the nationwide dialogue on equity and social justice issues, I volunteered to help coordinate a mandatory diversity and equity workshop series and training program for all staff that was led by a professional facilitator. This makes me a better employee, writer, marketer, team member, person, etc. I'm fortunate to have had the opportunity to learn and share with an ethnically diverse group of professionals. How has your agency taken steps to include ethnically diverse people of color in your hiring? I will keep you and my BIPOC brothers and sisters in this discussion in every interview going forward. The Jaquist 12 hours ago, though she reads this bro 41 reply share report save. If they said they only hire on skill and want to acknowledge inequalities that are there to be seen, then clearly they don't care about inclusion enough to improve in this area. It will be their loss. Any good company will be proud to talk about inclusion and their plan for it. As a white male who used to be in charge of hiring people, I always tried to hire people from marginalized groups. I'm not sure how I would answer that question, but I like being challenged on my ideas and thoughts, so I probably would at least call you back for another interview if not hired you, especially as you asked about another one of their campaigns first. It sounds to me like she gave you a stock answer. You never know, you may have made her notice something she'd been blind to until you mentioned it. She had two routes to go with that answer and she chose the absolute wrong one. Good on you for asking. I wouldn't want to work anywhere I felt uncomfortable. Some of these comments are just, I've been the only person of color in a few teams organizations. You absolutely asked the right question. It is good to figure out beforehand than to go in and have to constantly deal with microaggressions or just blatant racism. All of the people telling you otherwise or saying you just wanted in for being a minority have obviously never faced these issues. You dodged a bullet. I've been the only person of color in a few teams organizations. And what happened? I'm a minority myself, and I'm in a senior leadership position. Can level my honest impression of a candidate asking this question based on the merits of the information provided. My overall impression would be quite sounds like you are looking very hard to play victim and rope around your personal demons and risk bringing that into the workplace. Look, no one's got time for that. Of all concerns and questions, you chose that question to ask because you saw a bunch of white people. Couldn't you have asked literally almost anything else? Like maybe something concrete like, what is the advancement opportunities here? Future of the department? How is my performance going to be measured, etc.? Honestly, there was a million other better questions to ask. You know, I'm chuckling here because I'm a young visible minority myself, brown Muslim, and almost all the managers who report to me are white, and I work for a large manufacturing engineering company. As someone who works in the DI space at times, what? I don't get it. She said they hired based on skill, not race. Sounds like you want special consideration for being a minority, and your interpretation of her response tells me that you were literally dying to be a victim. Listen, everyone on this forum is having trouble finding a job. I'm not a minority, and I've been job hunting for the past 9 months with no luck. Should I bitch and moan that all the minorities are getting affirmative action benefits and not me? Lastly, asking this kind of a question to her is a huge red flag that you're gonna be a fucking Karen that cries wolf at every chance she gets to bring attention to her minority plight. Funlivisness 7256 13 hours ago. Double yikes 40 reply share report save. Putting in notice at job. After 16 years today, for a mix of reasons, I started at a small law firm as a paralegal out of undergrad. I didn't expect to stay long, but I ended up liking it and going to law school at night. I didn't expect to stay after law school, but I did. The job has been great to me in many ways and offered me lots of good opportunities. I've been wanting to be at a firm with a little broader work opportunity. I also saw the salary list for our firm accidentally a few months ago and realized how unfairly they were paying everyone versus their revenue. One lady, they are paying 6 figures to work part-time and her revenue just covers her salary, but probably not her costs. Another guy, they are paying about the same for full-time work, but he doesn't bring in any more either. They're losing money on those too. They were paying me less and I brought in 3 times my revenue. They are paying a couple younger associates that bill a ton of hours practically nothing. Then they made someone who brings in same and work as me partner in summer. Then they brought in another guy from elsewhere with less experience and said that they'll make him partner soon too. It's time to I went to one of the 3 firms that had been asking about me in the past year. I gave them all my numbers for 3 years, money I bring in, clients I get myself. They gave me a 20 base raise and made me a partner. I am telling them today that I am leaving. I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, have no doubts and no guilt, but it's still a big change. Wish me luck. Update. I got to work and the boss I've worked all these years was working from home. I've always felt like he was on my side, and the other partners who have been here much less time than I have and practice a diff type of law have always been the ones to screw me, and I can tell have been at odds my boss over it. So I told my boss and he was sad but asked where. I told him and he said it is a really good firm. Then he asked associate or partner, and I said partner, and he said good for you. You deserve it. I thanked him for all he has done for me, and he said he will tell the other partners. He asked when I was thinking of leaving, and I said end of March, and he said that's a good timely. He again told me he'd hate to lose me but is happy for my success. I'm glad to get that over. Thank you everyone for sending me messages. It is crazy sometimes how a bunch of internet strangers can help with hard things in life. 16 years, you stayed loyal after law school and they still haven't made you a partner. Yep, time to go. Knock a vase over on the way out. Lol. I hope your new gig is rewarding. It sounds very promising. I hope you take a little break in between to reflect on your accomplishments. Even a little weekend trip just to decompress and relax will do wonders. Thank you. Yeah, I am going to try to put maybe a week gap in there if I can. Palm Tree Suzeven 7 hours ago. Knock a vase over. Haha, love it. I. So true. 43 reply, share, report, save. You learned a great deal and made lasting connections. This is an experience you will treasure. Resignation letter language. It's true. What else is true is that you were at the start of your career and you deserve to be making $1,241,308,650 22 hours ago. Thank you. I think so too. It'll be a big change, but it needs to happen. 18. Reply, share, report, save. Good luck. I guarantee your current company knows they are underpaying you. So when you tell them, they very well might extend a counteroffer. I know in the industry I work, it is a well-known fact that in order to ever really make a big jump pay-wise, you have to switch companies, and only then does the current employer offer to up your pay and or you come back shortly at a substantially higher grade. Thanks. I have already decided I'll go even if they give me a great counteroffer. After how unfairly I saw they were paying me and a few others, I knew I could not stay. I don't trust them. And they also tried to explain to me why the guy got partner and I haven't yet, and they said it's about economics and then gave me some calculation. But I know how much the guy gets paid and his revenues. They don't know that, and so based on what they were saying I should have been made partner definitely and him only maybe. So they lied to my face about that. So I am at the point where I need to go because I don't want to be in business with them anymore. Remember, if you loved them and they loved you, no bridges are burned. You can go back. This isn't me telling you to rescind your notice, just a reminder that that door is ajar, not closed. You gave them an unbelievable amount of loyalty. They taught you a lot, undoubtedly, in your earlier years and were a place to get your foot in the door, for which you sound grateful. Now, it's definitely time to go, because you deserve so much more. Putting in notice at job after 16 years is quite literally all the reason you would ever need to justify this. If you worked there 16 hours, 16 weeks, or 16 months and didn't like it at some point, you have every right to go. 16 years is a long time to stay. Next job. And time around, put yourself and your career personal needs first always. Congratulations on this big change. It was the right thing to do. Slippin' Jimmy was all they could see. Show M. Saul, nice post to read early in the morning. Congrats, I've been at similar workplace processing payroll to the staff and witnessing how some people are abused wise. But to be honest, I hold them accountable too. Everyone needs to know and learn how to negotiate and know their values. Everyone to know and know. I know you, okay, value, and Oh no, 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 you Congress, well deserved, 1,241,308,657 19 hours ago. Thank you for one reply, share, report, save. Good luck. You deserve to be paid fairly, be in a place where you can see yourself moving forward. I know it'll feel like you were leaving a second home, but it isn't home if they were not giving you your fair due. Well, your loyalty is huge. Great to move on from that type of situation, though. This is what happens when companies don't pay two employees top dollar for their work. Even though things happened the way they did, it doesn't sound like you burned bridges or created chas in your current firm. Good for you for handling it the way you did. No, I did not. The partner that made me feel the most slighted and who I knew lied missiled about a few things. Asked why I'm leaving and I just said it is what I want. No hard feelings and nobody did anything wrong. It is just what I want, and my mind is made up. I mean, even when there's a 0.1 chance I am wheeling on something, I'm not gonna burn bridges. I have to just gracefully use my perspective as action, not words. The pay difference between paralegals is just crazy, and a job field I don't envy. So, he's one, and probably earns $16 sure, which is bullshit for a firm that scrapes in millions. It had slowly made me realize how average salary info online is a crock, because the pay listed for paralegals is nowhere near from what I have heard seen others make, except for the very few exceptions. Yay! I started at $31,000 a year in 2005. Since becoming an attorney, I've been able to make much bigger strides in my salary. But there are people there bringing in a lot of billable money that are barely making a thing. Attorneys and paralegals alike. Why did you leave? 16 years, pulled a ton of business, and all I ever got was maybe we can make you a partner someday. I can't think of a single honest person who'd bring up the word loyalty at that point. You gave them every chance. The shady partner came into my office today and acted shocked I was leaving and said he didn't get why when he told me he'd make me partner someday, so it is a mistake for me to leave. Even when he knows I'm going elsewhere to be a partner now, or more pay now, he still didn't get why I would not want to stay there to be a partner someday. I almost felt like it doesn't occur to him at all that he is competing for me, and lost. It is like it still wasn't registering that there are other law firms in the world. Congress on the move. It's hard to leave after you've been there a while, but that's how you can make bigger jumps in salary. Who knows, you might be able to come back years later at a higher level. One lady there, paying 6 figures to work part-time, and her revenue just covers her salary, but probably not her costs. Who on earth is paying 6 figures for part-time? I'd love to make $100 per year. I know I don't know why the hell they are doing that. It makes absolutely no sense. She might be getting paid because of the business connection she brings in. Law firms are a bit weird that way. Today, as you move up in seniority, the focus of your development stops being a better lawyer. Instead, business development, aka being a good salesman, is the focus. I obviously don't know how ups firm documents salaries and revenue and stuff, but looking at just those two things may be misleading. Be of the above. That woman may not be billing much, but she may be the connection between the client and the firm. Congratulations. You did a lot for this firm and deserve this promotion. I got a job interview for Wednesday after a year where I was seeing a black hole. I got a job interview for Wednesday. I am so excited. I am an extrovert. I have word limits to meet. Y'all, I thought I was going to be checked into a hospital. I felt so low. But I got an interview. I got an interview. So I got son. Yay, exciting stuff. It's such a good feeling knowing you were not invisible and that you made the shortlist. I had my first interview a few months ago, first one in a long time. I was so nervous. I think I did pretty bad. I really wanted the job. I found the best thing for me was to just go in with a whatever happens, happens attitude. Congratulations. I have an interview Wednesday as well as time, so crossing my fingers for the both of us. That means your resume background is impressive. Congrats and good luck. Now prepare for the interview, prepare answers for possible questions, and prepare how to respond handle to questions that you don't know the answer. Way to go. You were gonna land it. I always go into a job interview thinking of success and it works.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.